Hey, and welcome to the Expo show. I'm your host, Greg Merriweather. Today we're going to be talking a lot about what's going on in the community. So I've invited some guests from the Aspire House. Today I have Ms. Taria Fur and I have Ms. Sharon Clark. And we're going to be talking about what it is that they're doing with this house that I went to visit. It's actually a converted firehouse, correct? It's
Correct. It's a firehouse.
And they have just done something remarkable, or they're doing something remarkable with this, and I want them to, come and share that with the community. So I want to welcome you ladies to the Expo show, and I'll start with you, Ms. Clark.
Thank you.
Tell me about you, and then just give us a brief overview of what it is that you're doing with the Aspire House.
Yeah. So like you said, I'm Sharon Clark. I've been living in Indianapolis for 18 years now, and have been a great part of the community, enjoyed my time here. I have worked at Butler University and have done a lot of great things there and seen some good students through there. But there's a lot of things that I do, and I've always been a big advocate of doing as much as I can to better whatever community I've lived in. And the Aspire House is now the biggest project on my plate, and I'm excited about it and love the work that we're doing to restore an 1897 firehouse in a predominantly African American community that had kind of gotten forgotten about.
Yeah.
So it's been sitting over there vacant for a long time, and we were able to acquire it and then start the process to turn it around, to give it its life back, and then our plan is to open it up so the folks in this city can come over and see a lot of the great things that are happening over there. Yeah.
So this young lady next
Yes.
to Ms. Taria, Ms. Taria, introduce yourself and tell us what it is that brings you here as well with the Aspire House.
Well, what brings me here, honestly, is Sharon and Tim Clark. I've known them for a long time now. My daughter actually played for Sharon at Butler, volleyball, and that's how I was introduced in a formal way to Indianapolis. I'd been here before for conferences and different things, but never had I spent as much time as I've come to spend since I met Sharon and Candace came to play at Butler years ago. And our friendship just continued after my daughter finished playing for Sharon, and Sharon would always keep me abreast of projects that they were involved in because, like she said, they're interested in community and development and revitalizing neighborhoods. And when she bought the firehouse and sent us all pictures, we were like, wow, we got a chance to see some of the pictures from the beginnings of the firehouse, and she talked about restoring it, and then I came to Indianapolis, she showed it to me. I was like, oh my goodness. And so I've always been wondering how we could support her. So my husband and I have come alongside the Clarks, and we're working with them to do marketing, videotaping and archiving everything that's going on in the development of the Aspire House. And also I'm working really diligently to find grant money because a project of this size takes a lot of dough.
Yes. Yeah.
And so they have been investing their resources, and we want other people and other companies and organizations to come alongside and invest in this property so that it can be used for that community.
Absolutely. So when we think about the usage of the Aspire House, what's the vision?
Yeah.
We'll get into the plans a little later, but what's the vision of Aspire House?
So, the original thing, it actually organically goes back to what a firehouse used to be, which was kind of the community of the center and the folks that help you. For us, our vision was really that it was a beacon of light, so a point of inspiration on Raydale and Udell and Raider Streets, right in the middle, because that's right in the heart of the Northwest community, Northwest Indy. And so, our vision is that it help to start the vibrancy, to turn it around there, but also that it's a neighborhood place. It's a warm, it's a welcoming place. It's a place that you stop by for no reason at all,
right.
Or you stop by to meet with friends, or you bring your kids to do an art project, or you have a weekend there, because we're across the street from Frank Young Park. It's a nice little pocket park, and we just want to continue that warm feeling, that energy, and that's that's our goal, is to just be a boost and start that energy of life going again.
So you all have come together, and then we think about, how does one say, I'm looking for this place.
Yeah.
Where does that thing started? Like,
that was
find me a place to start this.
So it started because long before I became a resident of Indianapolis, I have always done done repurposed furniture and recycle things. And so I was looking for studio space, to be honest with you. And I looked all over the city and I tried for a multitude of places, but I found that property just going through Indiana Landmarks in 2002 when it was on the most endangered list sometime in that span. And what it did was it got me into that community, and we started to spend time in the community to figure out what was there. So, it's kind of random, but as we started to work on the building, we come to realize that this building, it means so much more than what its single original purpose was, and that it's not really about us. Right. It's about the people who live there and the people who come into that community and saving it. Yeah. A lot of it was about saving that building from being demolished.
So, Ms. Taria, when you, being out there and you're in the community, because I've seen you out there doing some work, what have the people said? What are the people saying that live in the community?
Well, it's really interesting to see how the comments have changed. So originally, when the kids would come by, they would tell us, "Oh, that's the monster building." They were afraid of it because the windows were, busted out. It was in decline. Yeah. It had been neglected for a long, long time. And so now, the Marion University students came and helped put a mural on the side wall on the Raider Street side. Sharon and Tim invested in a new roof, new windows, and so the building is starting to look better. And so now people are coming by like, "Oh, you guys are doing good work. We're really excited. What's it going to be?" Yeah. And so we'll ask them questions. Well, what do you think it should be? And people are now chiming in and giving us their thoughts, which lets us know that they're paying attention and they're glad to see the work that's going on there. So it's really starting to have an impact. People pass by, they blow their horns, they wave. Sunday when we were out there, a man who had seen us out there several times doing work decided to pull over. He said, "I can't pass this building up anymore. What are you guys doing?" So it's starting to have really a lot of traction in the community.
And what's the energy like now in the community? The more and more you're there.
It's picking up. It's great. Yeah, it's really good. When people come by that building, they're really excited. We had a woman to stop by Sunday. She had been to church at Barnes. Mm-hmm. On her way, she saw everybody out there and she said, "I've got to stop." So she stopped to say, "Listen, I go to church in this community. I see that you're doing something here. I want to volunteer." Mm-hmm. So we're starting to have those kinds of exchanges. It's really, really picking up.
Absolutely. So, I just think it's phenomenal because, when I met you two, it was just, me coming in and just, it's almost like I've been adopted. So
yeah, that's right.
Thank y'all for adopting me.
That's right.
Because I think that it's a wonderful project. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to continue having this great conversation about the Aspire House. You're watching the Expo Show. We'll be right back.
Saturday, July 21st, get ready for the IBE Music Heritage Festival #2, starring Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, along with Blackstreet featuring Teddy Riley and Dave Hollister, and also starring Brandy. Music Heritage Festival #2 at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, July 21st. Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, Blackstreet featuring Teddy Riley and Dave Hollister, and Brandy. Tickets on sale at all Ticketmaster outlets, the Indiana Black Expo box office, or at IndianaBlackExpo.com.
When I think about my son, I think about his big heart, how kind he was, just being there for everybody. Look, I am your brother. We need to stop the conflict with all this violence. Let's come together as a people. If you know something, just tell somebody. Our lives do matter.
Welcome back to the Expo Show. I'm your host, Greg Merriweather. We are here with Ms. Taria Clark, Ms. Taria Fur, and Ms. Sarah Clark.
Yep.
But we're talking about the Aspire House. And, one of the things I want to do really quickly is talk to Ms. Taria, because you're not from here. You're not from Indy. Yeah. And yet you've taken it upon yourself to be part of this project. And I want you to just really expound on that and just to express how being involved does not have to just be a local thing.
Well, in my mind, it's important for us to build a legacy, one that our children and other people's children can be proud of, to say, our ancestors did this. And you can find opportunities to plant seed and build legacy from where you live or in other places as well, because there's need all around us. So no, I live in the Washington, D.C. metro area, but I come to Indianapolis. My husband comes to Indianapolis on a regular basis to support Aspire House because we believe that this is a worthwhile investment. This is a building that will be used by that community, and it's going to last and be here long after we're gone. And there will be children, little brown children, children of color, who will see what a group of people banded together to make happen. So investment can happen anywhere. It's universal. Money is universal. It's not just spendable in your community. So you find a need, you find a cause somewhere that you feel you can make a difference in, join the cause, be a part of it. Don't limit yourself to just your community. Don't exclude your community, but don't limit yourself.
You know, you just said something that just kind of hit me, you know, in a very emotional way, because I don't think we even think like that anymore.
It's global.
But I don't think we think about us being in pictures 50 years from now, working together, and people saying, this is the group that did it. I mean, it just kind of hit me like, whoa. Like, because you see older pictures and people doing things and coming together, and it's like, it's so historic and monumental for our history. But this is the equivalent.
It is.
It really
you know, the thing that got my husband and I when we first made the decision to go after getting the building was I wondered what those black firemen were like who used to work out of that station, and what that whole community was like, and what they did over here, and what they thought over here. And though many of them have passed, right? Yeah. But I have a built-in respect for who they were and what they did, and I don't know them. Right. You know, I might know one of their great-grandchildren and don't know it. But just to have that respect for the hard work they did and what they put in. And so for me, it was like, I have to save this building. I don't have a choice. It might come at the financial expense of my family or at the expense of good friends who, it doesn't matter where they're from. They see the vision, they understand it, and they want to help the elderly, the children, anyone in that community who can smile because of it. So, you know, that's the whole thing that keeps us moving. That's what drives us. That's what keeps us going. And we're open to anyone and everyone who's willing to help. Sure. Yeah.
But you all are really, through Aspire House, are inspiring. Because when I look at this thing, you're not from here. You're not from here.
Yeah.
And it's a huge call to action. When I see two people who are not from here, but who have, you know, dedicated themselves to making this place a better place for other people. And so I want to, you know, just give you all, you know, just kudos, you know, your husbands. I mean, this is so massive in community because it's family. It's family, and it's family who are giving. And I think one of the things that I see is it's us.
Yeah.
It's us. It's us making sacrifices, us coming together, unifying through some common thing. Yeah. You know, and saying, you know what, let's make a difference.
Yeah. I feel very fortunate because we have a group of 10 people who initially agreed to come on and help us with this just because we asked. Sure. They have their lives, they have their families, they have their jobs. And two other ones do not live here. They live in other cities. Wow. But they have an affinity for Indianapolis and they want to see it happen. The other thing is, I really do believe my parents raised us to be the example. And I have a 17-year-old son, and he has a plethora of friends who, in this day and age of social media, I want them to recognize what people worked before them, and that it's not always about being liked. It's about helping out where you can. And so for him, I mean, they spend a lot of hours now. I make them come over on the weekends and at nights and at evenings because they need to understand that someone worked really hard for things that they have no idea that they benefit from. And so it's upon them to do that, especially before they go off to college to do whatever in their professional life, whatever communities they end up in. I just want them to leave with the sense of you can help wherever you're at. Sure. You know, this is home for me. Yeah. You know, I was a military child, so we moved constantly. So when people say, oh, where are you from? I can name 10 cities, but I love all of those places. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But home is where your heart is. We're good neighbors, and that's what we want to be. We want to continue to help, the Harriet Harpers, who's my neighbor three doors down, who just retired and was like, I don't think I want to stay here. And I said, you got to stay, Miss Harriet. We need you to stay here. And so she is so far.
So last Sunday, the CEO here, she's a member of Zeta Phi Beta.
The
And
Zetas.
last week, you guys were doing a lot of work, and you had the brothers from
Phi Beta
Phi
Sigma.
Beta Sigma.
They showed out.
They did.
Talk about that.
Oh my goodness. So 50 brothers. The Great Lakes Regional Conference of Phi Beta Sigma was held in Indianapolis, and from what we understand, they always do a community service project. Well, now just to show you how people that are not from here can be involved just as well as the people who are from here, a gentleman named Gerald, who is a Phi Beta Sigma, lives in California, talked to Sharon and Angela, another one of our team members, and said, what are you guys doing? Well, let me see how I can get my brothers who are local to be involved. And from his effort to connect us with the local chapter, 50 brothers from Phi Beta Sigma gave us a day of service this past Sunday, and it was tremendous.
It was tremendous. I mean, I was there
awesome.
to witness it, and I was just like, these brothers showed up and showed out.
They did.
And your husband, talk about it. Tell me how you feeling.
For my husband, now my husband is truly the real term of ride or die, right? So, he does all that work tirelessly, quietly, never complains. But what he had the smile on his face, which was, I'm so glad that these brothers are here to support and help.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing this crazy work for my wife alone. Yeah.
The first time I met him, he was just a really mild-mannered guy.
Yeah.
But
he is.
He's working. But I saw him literally cheesing.
Yeah. Yes. You know what though, Greg? I'll tell you this. It's powerful to see that many black men working together.
Oh,
and the age range was amazing, right?
Yes.
So there were Sigmas that were in their 60s and there were Sigmas that were in their early 20s.
Yes.
And for them to work together, to have that sense of unity for us when they don't know us, they came with it, they came strong, and it was awesome. And we hope that, other groups will help us, because that's the way we're going to get it done.
Absolutely.
Because I don't have generational wealth to brush it and say $600,000, we're going to get this building up and running and going. So, but what we do have are people who care.
Absolutely. So I'm sending a shout out, quick challenge, Divine 9. I got something to do. The weather's breaking, so come on out to the Aspire House. Make sure you get out the information from these beautiful ladies to talk about it. So we'll be right back. You're watching the Expo Show.
Saturday, July 21st, get ready for the IBE Music Heritage Festival #2, starring Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, along with Blackstreet featuring Teddy Riley and Dave Hollister, and also starring Brandy. Music Heritage Festival #2 at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, July 21st. Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, Blackstreet featuring Teddy Riley and Dave Hollister, and Brandy. Tickets on sale at all Ticketmaster outlets, the Indiana Black Expo box office, or at IndianaBlackExpo.com.
When I think about my son, I think about his big heart, how kind he was, just being there for everybody. Look, I am your brother. We need to stop the conflict with all this violence. Let's come together as a people. If you know something, just tell somebody. Our lives do matter.
And welcome back to the Expo Show. We're talking about the Aspire House. We are with Ms. Taria Furr, Sharon Clark, and I want to talk about the building. I want to get inside and what's going on with the building. So give me a rundown. It's 3 floors, correct?
It is. So the building's located at 1002 Udell Street. It's at the corner of Raider and Udell. Okay. And it is 3 floors, including the attic. It's about a little over 6,000 square feet, so it's a good size.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good size. And we're excited about each of those floors. So on the first floor, what we have planned is to open that hall, that's where the fire trucks used to be, as a flexible art space, right? So it's a creator space. And there's not a complete definition. You could see painting and pottery one day, or you could have a jazz concert the next. So, so really having that stay very flexible so that it gets as much use as possible. And then there's a back part of that where will be what we consider to be our cafe bake shop. So it will be a place where we do have a demonstration kitchen, so we can do healthy eating classes, we can do after school meals for the kids that walk by, that go to School 42 in the area, and we're really excited about that. Right, we got you. We're gonna have you all in there. But yeah, you know, everybody knows that area is a food desert, so that's what that first floor is. Definitely the public space for the community. And then we'll move on. The second floor, what we're gonna have there is residential living to help start the infill back of more people living in the area. So there'll be a couple of units on that second floor that we'll build at, and it's got amazing high ceilings, so we're excited about that. And hopefully artist loft type of look to it, so that, again, it's definitely a place for a very creative person. And then the third floor we will have as a co-opted meeting space and office space. So if you wanted to come and use it to do a show, you certainly could do it right from the neighborhood from there. And it's got a beautiful view to the park and stuff like that. So we're excited about that. But that third floor really will be for people to come. It's like a brain trust, you know, to come and do ideas and communal meet, or to have your own space, like a lot of other co-working spaces in the area that are downtown and other areas. We need a co-working space over there. That's one of the things we found. Sure. So we're going to provide that on that third floor, so people have a place to really work from and help as that community starts to build back and come alive.
So, you know, with that being said, let's jump out. What are some of the things that we need to get done? And what I mean by that is, are there functioning street lights? What do the sidewalks look like? What are those things that we need to get done that we may need some help from the city?
Yeah.
Well, we do need help with the sidewalks for one thing, because there is a sidewalk on the Raider Street side and it's extremely wide. And what we don't know is how much of that sidewalk belongs to Aspire House and how much of it is the city. So we need somebody to help us figure that out. And then we need either the city to commit to repair that sidewalk, because it's a hazard right now. Mm-hmm. It's old and crumbling, and so someone could really fall and hurt themselves if they were walking by. We don't want the liability for us or the city. But then if the city, you know, can't at this point do something to repair it, give us the approval to do it ourselves. We're willing to do whatever we need to do, but we just need to know, you know, how we get that process started. We don't even know who to talk to in the city about that. We also have a fire hydrant that I know at one time provided water for if there was a fire in that neighborhood, but it's old, it's not functioning anymore. It's sinking into the ground. We want to have approval from the city to lift that and then have some creative person to do some creative sculpture or something using that. We don't want to take away and strip away some of the original elements that were a part of the building, but we just need approval to be able to, you know, get that fire hydrant lifted and then to re-sculpt it or do something with it constructively. So we need that kind of thing. We need more lighting. Yes, definitely we need more lighting. It would be helpful if we could light that corner, because Sharon mentioned earlier the building, we want it to be a beacon of light. Well, we hope to light the building once it's finished, but in the meantime, street lights would be very, very helpful. Okay. So those are just a few things. Sharon?
And that's, yeah, you know, that infrastructure would really help, obviously. Yeah. For us, we're pouring every penny we have into the building. Sure. And it's a daunting task because all of the floors, all of the walls, everything has to be redone. The plumbing, the electrical, any electricians out there willing to donate their time? Yeah, we'd love to have you. Insulation, all of those types of things. So the, you know, all of those service areas, those are the things that we're spending our time and our money, you know, going into the building to get the building to be up safe. Sure. and that it's done correctly. So there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot that has been done, but there's we got a ways to go. Yeah.
So is this the only project you guys have in the neighborhood?
We've got several projects going on in the neighborhood. This for us, this is the big one. But I have to say we've got some great collaborations going on with Groundworks Indy, with Phyllis over there, and some other groups that we're all trying to work the corridor, right? So from 30th Street to Birdsville Parkway, we're trying to renew that, because back in the day, there were several commercial businesses. There was a cleaners there were restaurants there all along the corridor, and we want to bring that back so that we get more people wanting to move into the neighborhood.
You know, what's great about this is that this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like when we get busy. This is what it looks like when we say, I've made a decision to better our community. And I'm just so happy to hear the work that you're all doing, because it's not just, trust me, it's not just Inspire House.
Right.
You guys are in the neighborhood.
Right.
You know, and when I see that, it is something that we hope becomes infectious.
Yeah.
We hope it becomes infectious because we can do it.
We can.
Right?
Yes.
And we can do it for ourselves.
Yes.
Correct.
We don't have to wait for someone to come in and do it and take it over and all of that.
Yeah.
But what we said is a block at a time. You know, so right now we're working the 4 blocks around our building and trying to improve it and just make it better with the help of some great, generous people like Tree and her husband, who are willing to just come in and do their thing, give us what they can, when they can, and we just keep running with it.
Yeah, and I want to challenge people. I want to challenge people to come out. How often are you all there?
We're there weekly now that the weather broke.
Right.
So a lot of weekends, a lot of evenings, but I will say the Sigmas have been great because they have agreed to come monthly for the next several months, right? So through this really busy work time for outdoor stuff, they're going to help us, but we need more help.
Yeah.
You know, we need more help, more hands, more people who are willing to give up a Saturday or a weekend or evening night and just know that what they do will impact so many people. It reaches so far.
So, Sister Tanya Bell, I know you're going to get me, but I'm going to challenge you ladies. Come on out with your brothers.
Right.
They handling business, so don't let them outdo you.
Right.
That's my girl.
Yeah.
But on real, that's great. So I want you to, we got a few seconds, just to give us a final word, your thoughts on community.
I just want to say that community is important and it matters. It matters today and it's going to matter in the future. And we're not asking anyone to do everything that they can. We're asking them to do what they can. It's not good doesn't have to be taken on by one person. But if every person does the good they can do, it makes a big difference.
Neighbors, you know, we want to be great neighbors and we're looking for great neighbors. And anybody's a neighbor. You don't have to live there to be a neighbor.
Oof,
yeah.
Love it. So this has been the Expo Show. These ladies, I thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. So
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
So this has been great. I mean, you've been 2 phenomenal people who are doing phenomenal work in our community. It can be done if we make the decision to do it. This has been Greg Merriweather here at the Expo Show. We'll see you next week.
Saturday, July 21st, get ready for the IBE Music Heritage Festival #2, starring Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, along with Blackstreet featuring Teddy Riley and Dave Hollister, and also starring Brandy. Music Heritage Festival #2 at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, July 21st. Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, Blackstreet featuring Teddy Riley and Dave Hollister, and Brandy. Tickets on sale at all Ticketmaster outlets, the Indiana Black Expo box office, or at IndianaBlackExpo.com.